We've got this really comprehensive guide about caring for your newborn, and it's packed with so many practical tips, like really, really essential for first-time parents.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a treasure trove of advice, right? I've been reading through it and it's super detailed.
Exactly. One of the big things it highlights is that while your baby is getting all the attention, it's really important to take care of you too. I mean, having a newborn can be overwhelming sometimes, and getting help from family or friends is key.
Yeah. Yep, because if you're not well, it's hard to be the best for your baby, right?
Right. And then there's the whole section on handling your baby. It really stresses hand washing, which makes sense since newborns have such fragile immune systems.
Absolutely. Cleanliness is non-negotiable. It's so critical to always wash your hands before even, cuddling the little one.
And not just that, it goes into detail about how to support your baby's head and neck. I mean, it might sound obvious, but it's like you're literally cradling them, ensuring their head is safe.
Right. Especially when you're holding them upright or setting them down, you gotta be super careful.
Yep, and speaking of safety, there's this very clear warning. Never ever shake your baby under any circumstances. It's a desperate no-no.
Exactly.
Even when you're just trying to wake them up, you're instructed to do something like tickle their feet rather than shaking them.
That's a really serious point. It's like any bit of rough handling, even in a playful moment, just isn't worth the risk.
Now, shifting gears a bit, the guide really dives into bonding with your baby. It talks up the whole idea of skin-to-skin contact. It's like an instant, heart-melting connection.
Yeah, and it's almost like falling in love all over again, seeing that little face up close.
Right, and you just set up a cozy spot, a dimly lit room, comfortable seating, and maybe even no heavy perfumes. So everything's natural and soothing.
Absolutely, and that gentle talking or even humming while holding your baby, it just builds that connection even further.
And then there's soothing techniques. Infant massage actually gets a nod in the guide. It suggests gentle strokes that can be really calming, especially if your baby is fussy.
Yeah, it reminds me of how sometimes a simple touch and a soft melody can transform their mood in just minutes.
For sure. And swaddling, it's practically an art form in itself. The guide breaks down the steps, lay out the blanket, place your baby carefully, wrap snugly but not too tight so that the hips can move a bit, right?
Yeah, it's like a balancing act. You want that warmth and security, but not so tight that it could harm their growth.
Exactly. And there's even a reminder, stop swaddling when your baby starts rolling over, which is usually around 2 months.
That's very important. Definitely. That timeline really helps parents know when to transition.
Then we get to diapering. The guide mentions that babies go through roughly 10 changes a day. I mean, that's
Oh,
a
for
lot,
sure.
right? It advises on having everything at hand and the right wiping technique, front to back, to keep everything clean.
And yes, wash your hands afterwards because, hygiene first.
Exactly. Now, the bathing section is interesting too. At first, it's all sponge baths until the umbilical cord falls off, and then you can move on to actual
Right.
tub baths. It even points out that 2 to 3 baths a week is perfectly fine for preserving those delicate skin oils.
Too many baths might actually dry out their skin, so it's a really thoughtful tip.
And then there's that part on umbilical cord and circumcision care. It's pretty detailed. For example, you should let the cord stump dry and only clean around it until it naturally falls off, which is typically in 10 days to 3 weeks.
Yep, very clear guidelines. And for circumcision care, it's about using petroleum jelly and changing the gauze regularly, right?
Exactly, and it emphasizes watching for any signs of infection, like redness or pus, which is crucial.
Right, because monitoring is key.
Moving on, the guide dives into feeding, and that's such an emotional roller coaster for new parents. They say feed on demand every 2 to 3 hours.
That's a lot of wake-ups in the middle of the night. It sure is, but it's all about making sure the baby is satisfied and growing well.
And there's advice on burping the baby often to help avoid discomfort from swallowed air. Pretty practical stuff.
Totally, even the smallest tip can really make a difference in comfort for the baby.
Now, one area where I actually kind of respectfully challenge a little point in the guide is the bit on visitors. They suggest limiting guests if you're feeling overwhelmed. which is fine, but sometimes support from visitors can also be really
Yeah, I get
beneficial.
that, but it's a balancing act, right? Exactly. You need to manage visitors carefully. Not too much stimulation for the baby, yet you don't want to isolate yourself entirely.
Absolutely. And finally, the guide wraps up with baby sleep guidelines. Newborns can sleep like 16 hours a day in short bouts, and it stresses always placing them on their backs to reduce
Important
SIDS
safety
risk.
tip for every parent. Yeah, and it even mentions safe sleeping environments, no loose blankets or stuffed animals, which is something a lot of parents sometimes unintentionally overlook.
Right, consistency is key in those early days. It really sets up a routine that helps both the baby and, well, the parents too.
Yup, that routine is golden. So when you look at the guide overall, it's not just a list of do's and don'ts, it's a holistic approach to caring for a new life.
Totally. From handling and bonding to soothing, diapering, and even caring for yourself, every little piece matters.
Yep, every detail counts. And these practical methods give first-time parents a solid foundation to feel confident as they navigate this crazy new world.
Right on. It's like having a roadmap that covers every step from those first moments at home to
It's really
establishing a
empowering
routine.
advice.